My name is Kira Wilson. I'm 34 years old, and my husband locked me in our basement for 3 days without food or water. On the third morning, I heard the mailman knock on the door above my head. I screamed for help with what little voice I had left. My throat felt shredded, my lips cracked, my body shaking. I screamed anyway, because that knock wasn't just a sound, it was hope. But then I heard my husband's footsteps, heavy, calm, controlled, and just like that, everything stopped. If you think you know where this story is going, trust me, you don't. What happened next changed everything. But before I tell you how I made him pay, I need you to understand how I ended up in that basement in the first place. 4 years ago, I was somebody. I was a medical billing specialist making decent money. I owned my own condo, nothing fancy, just a one-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood. But it was mine. My name was on the deed, my furniture, my rules, my life. I was independent, strong, the woman my grandmother raised me to be. I called her Big Mama. She raised me from the time I was 6 years old, after my mother decided drugs were more important than her daughter. Big Mama taught me everything that mattered: how to manage money, how to spot a liar, how to stand on my own 2 feet, and most importantly, never depend on a man for survival. She used to say, "Baby, a man can add to your life, but he should never be your life. Keep your own money. Keep your own space, keep your own power." I listened, I lived by those rules, until Big Mama died. 4 years ago, sudden heart attack. One day she was laughing at the kitchen table, the next day she was gone. I was 30 years old and felt like an orphan all over again. The funeral was the hardest day of my life. I stood in that church staring at her casket, feeling like the ground had been ripped out from under me. That's when I met Malcolm. Malcolm Wilson, 6'2", dark skin, a beautiful, confident smile. He wore a suit like it belonged to him. He approached me after the service, said he was a friend of my uncle's, said he just wanted to pay his respects. He was gentle, quiet. He asked if I was okay, and when I talked about Big Mama, he didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix anything, didn't say everything happens for a reason. He just listened. In my grief, that felt like oxygen. We started dating 2 months later. Malcolm took me to nice restaurants. He texted me good morning every single day. He told me I was beautiful, that I was special, that God had brought me into his life. After a year of being alone with my pain, Malcolm felt like a gift, like maybe Big Mama had sent him to me. God, I was so wrong. The red flags were there from the beginning. I either didn't see them, or worse, I saw them and painted them green. He didn't like my best friend Tanya, said she was negative, said she was always trying to turn me against him. When I defended her, he'd go quiet, withdraw, sulk for days until I apologized. Eventually, I stopped seeing Tanya. He didn't like me going out with coworkers, said those women were single and bitter, trying to poison my mind, so I stopped going. He didn't like my old friends from college either, said they didn't respect our relationship. One by one, he peeled everyone away from my life, and I let it happen because I thought that was love, sacrifice, compromise, putting your partner first. I didn't realize I was putting myself last. After 2 years, Malcolm proposed, got down on one knee in a restaurant, ring and all, everyone clapped. I said yes because that's what you're supposed to do. When a good man proposes, you say yes, and Malcolm looked like a good man. He had a job as a sales manager, he owned a house. Went to church on Sundays, talked about building a future. We got married at City Hall, small ceremony. Malcolm said we should save money for our future. After the wedding, he sat me down for what he called a serious conversation. Now that we were married, he said, we needed to combine everything, be a real team. He suggested I sell my condo and move into his house. Said it was bigger, made more sense, we could use my equity to pay down the mortgage. I hesitated. I heard Big Mama's voice in my head, but Malcolm took my hands and said, "Don't you trust me? We're one now. What's mine is yours." So I sold my condo. I walked away with $85,000 after the mortgage was paid. Malcolm said we'd put it toward our house. I signed the check over to him. He promised we'd add my name to the deed. We never did. There was always an excuse. Paperwork, the bank, next month turned into next year. By then I knew the truth. He never intended to give me anything. Malcolm also convinced me to open a joint bank account, said it would be easier if he handled the bills. I worked hard enough, he said. Let him take care of things. So I did, and slowly he took control of every dollar. He questioned every purchase. Why did you spend $40 at Target? Why do you need new shoes? Why lunch with coworkers? Those comments turned into rules. I had to ask permission to spend more than $20. I had to show receipts. If I couldn't explain $1, he accused me of hiding money. Then he convinced me to quit my office job. Work from home, he said. Save gas, be home when he got home, cook dinner, take care of the house. I quit. And just like that, I was isolated. No coworkers, no lunches, no one to talk to, just me, waiting. Some days Malcolm was sweet, other days he was cruel. The house wasn't clean enough, dinner wasn't ready, I wore too much makeup, or not enough. I walked on eggshells, because when Malcolm was unhappy, everyone suffered. By year 3, the insults got worse. He called me stupid, lazy, damaged. And then he put his hands on me. It started small, grabbing my arm too hard, bruises shaped like fingerprints. He apologized. He always apologized. And I always forgave him, because I had nowhere to go. That's when I started documenting everything. I found an old journal hidden under a loose floorboard and wrote it all down. Dates, words, actions. I also started saving money. $1 here, $2 there, hidden in a tampon box, over 2 years I saved $3,000, my escape money. Then he found it, 3 weeks ago. He stood in the bedroom with my cash spread across the bed. His voice was calm. Where did you get this? And when I finally told him the truth, when I said I'd thought about leaving, his face changed. He grabbed my hair, dragged me, opened the basement door, and shoved me down the stairs. The door slammed shut. The lock clicked, and that's how I ended up in the dark. Hungry, thirsty, broken, waiting. And on the 3rd day, I heard the knock. The knock echoed through the house like a heartbeat. 3 solid knocks. I recognized the rhythm instantly. It was Daniel, the mailman. He'd been delivering mail to our house for almost 2 years. Older black man, late 52nds maybe. Always polite, always smiling. The kind of man who looked you in the eye when he spoke. He was my only chance. I dragged myself off the cold concrete floor. My legs shook so badly I almost collapsed again. My throat burned, my tongue felt like sandpaper, but I forced air into my lungs and screamed, "Help me, I'm in the basement, please, help me!" For half a second, there was silence. Then I heard Daniel's footsteps stop. Hope exploded in my chest so fast it hurt. "My husband locked me down here," I screamed again. "Please call 911, I've been here for 3 days." I heard movement above me, and then I heard Malcolm. His footsteps were fast but controlled. Not panicked, never panicked. Malcolm always knew how to sound reasonable. I pressed my ear against the basement door, straining to hear. The front door opened. Malcolm's voice was calm, apologetic. "Hey man, I'm sorry about that. My wife isn't well. She has episodes, psychiatric ones. We're waiting on her doctor." "No," I screamed, pounding the door with what little strength I had left. "He's lying. I'm not crazy. He locked me down here. Daniel's voice came back, hesitant. Concerned. "Sir, I don't know. That sounded serious. I think I should call someone." Malcolm cut him off smoothly. "I really appreciate your concern. Truly. But this is a private medical matter. If you call the police, it'll just traumatize her more. The doctor said we need to keep her calm until they arrive." Silence, the longest silence of my life. I heard doubt in it. Then footsteps, walking away, off the porch, back to the truck. I collapsed. The sound that came out of me wasn't even crying anymore. It was something animal, something broken. The last piece of hope snapped clean in half. The basement door opened, light flooded in. Malcolm stood at the top of the stairs looking down at me like I was trash. "You really thought he'd save you?" he said. "You really thought anyone would believe you over me?" He smiled. "Nobody's coming, Kira. Nobody cares. You're mine." The light shut off. The door closed. The lock clicked. I lay there in the darkness, sure I was going to die. I thought about Big Mama. About the woman I used to be. The one who owned her own home. Who had friends. Who had choices. That woman was gone. Malcolm had killed her. And now he was going to kill me too. Then, 2 hours later, I heard something that didn't belong. Pounding. Not knocking. Pounding. Heavy. Authoritative. Police. Open the door now. At first I thought I was hallucinating. Then I heard Malcolm's voice. Panicked for the first time. "What?" I didn't call. What's going on? A man's voice cut through him, firm and sharp. We received a welfare check about a woman in distress at this address. Where's your wife, sir? Malcolm stammered. She's upstairs resting. She's sick. I'll go get her. I need to see her now, the officer said. Step aside. Footsteps, multiple voices, doors opening. I forced myself upright and reamed with everything I had left. I'm in the basement. Please, I'm down here. Running footsteps. Someone tried the handle. It's locked. Sir, open this door immediately. I can't find the key. Open it now or we break it down. The key turned. The door flew open. Light exploded into the basement. Hands reached for me, careful, gentle hands. A woman's voice, calm, reassuring. Ma'am, you're safe now. I couldn't speak. My legs gave out. They lifted me anyway. As they carried me upstairs, I saw Malcolm in the hallway, hands cuffed behind his back. For the first time in 4 years, he looked afraid. Good. Paramedics gave me water, 4 fluids, blankets. An officer stayed by my side, Officer Renee Alvarez. Before they loaded me into the ambulance, she knelt beside me. Do you want to press charges? I looked at Malcolm, still trying to talk his way out of it. Yes, I whispered, every charge. He was arrested for false imprisonment, domestic violence and kidnapping. Yes, kidnapping. Even in his own home. I spent 1 night in the hospital, severe dehydration, bruising, trauma. A social worker came the next morning and told me about a shelter called Safe Harbor. It's confidential, she said. He won't find you. I went because I had nowhere else. The shelter was plain but clean. Bars on the windows to keep people out, not me in. That mattered. There were other women there, some with kids, some like me. We didn't ask many questions. On my 4th day, I met Nia. She was sharp-eyed, calm, strong in a quiet way. You're not just trying to survive, she said while we walked. You want justice. She was right. She introduced me to attorney Lauren Brooks. Lauren was ruthless, in the best way. She listened to everything, every detail. When I told her about the journal hidden under the floorboard, her eyes lit up. That journal, she said, is power. She took my case pro bono. We retrieved the journal with a police escort. Page after page of dates, words, abuse, ironclad. The criminal trial came first. Daniel testified. He told the jury he'd felt something was wrong, and called 911 anyway. That call saved my life. Officer Alvarez testified. The paramedics, the doctors. Then it was my turn. I read from the journal. The courtroom cried. The jury deliberated 3 hours. Guilty, on all counts. Malcolm was sentenced to 3 years in state prison. But that wasn't enough. Lauren filed for divorce. We went after everything. The house, the hidden accounts, damages. We found $90,000 offshore. The house sold. I received 60%, pain and suffering damages, spousal support. When it was over, I walked away with over $350,000 and my freedom. The first thing I did? I bought a condo, in my name, only mine. I paid off every debt, saved $200,000 untouched. Went back to work, got promoted, started volunteering at Safe Harbor. I spoke to women who thought they were broken. I told them the truth. You're not weak, you're surviving. Malcolm got out early for good behavior. I felt nothing. He lives with his mother now, on probation, a felon. I live in peace. I travel, I laugh, I sleep without fear. I visit Big Mama's grave every year. I made it, I tell her. I kept my power. If you're in a basement, literal or emotional, hear me. There is a way out. Document everything. Save what you can. Tell someone. And if you hear something wrong, don't walk away. Make the call. My name is Kira Wilson. I survived. And so can you.